These are 5 lithium battery installation mistakes that could cost you up to $117,608 per day in Coast Guard fines starting in 2026. If you're thinking about upgrading your boat's electrical system or buying a vessel with lithium batteries, what I'm about to share could save you from catastrophic financial penalties and potentially deadly fires at sea. The Coast Guard just issued Marine Safety Alert 1425 through their Marine Safety Information Bulletin system in July 2025, and it's completely changing the game for anyone with lithium batteries on their boat. This isn't just another bureaucratic update. It's a direct response to a passenger vessel fire where loosely crimped battery lugs overheated and nearly caused a disaster. Nobody died in that incident, but the Coast Guard made it crystal clear that the days of casual lithium battery installations are over. Before we dive into the technical requirements, quick note: this channel focuses on Coast Guard compliance and federal boating regulations that actually affect your safety and your wallet. I don't sugarcoat the rules, and I don't skip the serious stuff. If you want straight information about what's changing in marine regulations, from equipment requirements to new federal standards, hit that subscribe button. This lithium battery situation is just one example of how fast regulations are evolving, and staying current could literally save your life or your boat. New compliance updates every week. Let's start with what's actually happening in January 2026. The International Maritime Dangerous Goods Code 42-24 becomes mandatory worldwide, bringing some serious teeth. Any vessel with lithium batteries will now fall under UN 3556 classification, instead of the old UN 3171 standard. But here's what most boat owners don't realize. This isn't just about commercial vessels anymore. The Coast Guard's new position is unambiguous. All integrated lithium-ion battery systems on inspected vessels must undergo engineering plan review by the Marine Safety Center, be fitted with supporting safety systems, be tested and inspected at installation and periodically afterward, and be properly maintained by competent mariners. That applies regardless of the battery bank size or end consumer. That last part about regardless of size means your weekend cruiser isn't getting a free pass. Now, about those fines I mentioned. The Coast Guard can impose civil penalties up to $117,608 per day for violating captain of the port orders. But that's just the beginning. Criminal penalties can include up to 6 years in prison and fines reaching $250,000 for individuals or $500,000 for organizations. Additional violations stack up quickly, with $69,000 for illegal passenger for hire operations, $5,996 for lacking proper inspection certificates, and $9,624 for not enrolling in required drug and alcohol programs. Let's talk about why the Coast Guard is taking such a hard line. The statistics are genuinely alarming. The global lithium-ion battery market is exploding toward $446 billion by 2032. But we're seeing over 1,000 spontaneous lithium battery fires reported every week. In the marine industry specifically, Allianz Global Corporate and Specialty analyzed over 240,000 insurance claims worth 9.2 billion euros and found that fires are now the most expensive cause of loss, accounting for 18% of all claim values. The human cost is even more sobering. In July 2023, a lithium battery fire on a 70-foot Viking yacht in the Florida Keys killed 51-year-old Linda Vella and critically injured 2 others. The culprit? An e-bike battery that had fallen into the water earlier that day. After being retrieved, the battery was placed on a wooden cabinet inside the vessel, alongside Coast Guard-required safety flares. When the battery went into thermal runaway, it ignited the cabinet, which then ignited the flares, turning the entire vessel into an inferno. This brings us to thermal runaway, the phenomenon that makes lithium batteries uniquely dangerous. Unlike traditional lead-acid batteries that might just stop working when they fail, lithium batteries can enter an uncontrolled chain reaction where temperatures spike rapidly and fires become virtually impossible to extinguish. A single 100 kilowatt-hour battery can release 20 kilograms of hydrogen fluoride gas during thermal runaway. A fire involving an electric vehicle might require 136,000 liters of water over 4 hours to extinguish, compared to just 17,000 liters for a traditional vehicle. The Ineos Britannia sailing team learned this the hard way during training off Barcelona. Their AC-40 suffered an onboard fire when repeated impact from the vessel bouncing around caused thermal runaway in their lithium battery system. The crew had to react instantly to smoke pouring from a forward hatch, deploying fire extinguishers and pumping water through the opening. They were lucky to contain it, but once thermal runaway starts, it's very hard to stop. Even more mysterious was the case of Brett Clibbery and Sarah Packwood, found dead in their lifeboat in British Columbia waters in 2022. Their 42-foot yacht Theros had been retrofitted with an electric car battery system. No distress call was ever received, but investigators found one crew member wearing a flotation suit with serious fire damage. The yacht was never recovered, leaving investigators to piece together what likely happened during their Atlantic crossing attempt. So what does compliance actually look like? The American Boat and Yacht Council has completely overhauled their E13 standard, now incorporating ASTM F3353-19 as their foundation for lithium battery installations. The 2025 to 2026 edition represents some of the biggest changes in years. Brian Goodwin, ABYC's Director of Standards and Compliance, puts it bluntly. The newest revisions touch just about every corner of the boat: electrical, fuel, water systems, and even seat structures. Here are the non-negotiable requirements under ABYC E13. First, all lithium batteries must have UL 1973, UL 2054, SAE, or IEC testing certifications, which automatically excludes most Chinese and knockoff brands that flood the marine market. Second, batteries must be secured so they cannot move more than 1 inch in any direction. No exceptions. Third, every system must include a battery management system that provides audible or visual alarms for impending shutdowns and proper state of charge monitoring. The electrical requirements get technical fast. Fuses must now be rated for 5,000 AIC per 100 amp-hours of battery capacity. If you're installing a 300 amp-hour battery bank, you need fuses rated for 15,000 ampere-seconds minimum. Class T fuses can only support up to 20,000 ampere-seconds, which means larger battery banks require completely different protection schemes. Installation location matters more than ever. Batteries cannot be installed directly above or below fuel tanks, fuel filters, or fuel line fittings. They need proper ventilation, even though lithium doesn't off-gas under normal conditions. Airflow helps manage temperatures and prevents thermal buildup. Terminal protection is mandatory to prevent metallic objects from contacting ungrounded terminals. But here's where it gets expensive for existing boat owners. The Coast Guard Marine Safety Center doesn't allow expedited plan reviews for lithium installations because of the serious safety risks involved. Every system needs individual engineering review, design verification test procedures, periodic safety test procedures, hazardous area plans for toxic off-gases, structural fire protection, fire and smoke detection systems, water-based fixed suppression systems, and exhaust ventilation. For commercial operators working with classification societies like DNV or Lloyd's Register, this means significant upfront costs and ongoing compliance requirements. But recreational boat owners aren't off the hook either. Installing batteries incorrectly can automatically invalidate your insurance policy, and insurance companies have made clear they're scrutinizing lithium installations more carefully than ever before. The international implications are equally significant. Under Directive 2013/53/EU, replacing lead batteries with lithium batteries is considered a major change that can result in loss of CE conformity for European boats. This applies regardless of whether you're using lithium-ion, LiFePO4, or other lithium chemistries. Here's what's particularly frustrating for boat owners. The safety technology exists to make lithium batteries incredibly reliable. Modern LiFePO4 marine batteries built with quality battery management systems can deliver 3,000 to 6,000 full cycles, corresponding to 10 to 20 years of service under normal conditions. They're 70% lighter than lead-acid batteries with 4 times the storage capacity. When installed correctly, they're actually safer than the lead-acid systems they replace. The key phrase is, when installed correctly. The Coast Guard's crackdown isn't about the technology itself. It's about the Wild West approach that's characterized marine lithium installations for the past several years. Too many boat owners and installers have treated lithium batteries like drop-in replacements for lead-acid systems, ignoring the fundamental differences in charging profiles, protection requirements, and failure modes. As we head into 2026, the message from regulators is unmistakable. Lithium battery installations must be treated as serious electrical engineering projects, not weekend DIY upgrades. The penalties for getting it wrong aren't just financial, they're potentially fatal. But for boat owners willing to invest in proper installation and compliance, lithium technology offers unprecedented performance and reliability that will transform how we think about marine electrical systems for decades to come. Here's what you need to do right now. If you have lithium batteries on your boat, go check 3 things immediately. First, verify your batteries have UL 1973 or UL 2054 certification. If they don't, they're not compliant. Second, check if they're secured so they cannot move more than 1 inch in any direction. Use a ruler if you need to. Third, confirm you have a battery management system with audible or visual alarms. Drop a comment below with what you found. Are you compliant, partially compliant, or completely non-compliant? I'm tracking how many boats out there are actually following these new standards. If you're planning a lithium upgrade or buying a boat with lithium, subscribe because I'm covering the other critical compliance topics that could cost you serious fines, from VHF radio requirements to insurance survey failures. And if you found this information valuable, share it with your boat club or marina. This marine safety alert affects thousands of boats, and most owners have no idea these rules even exist. Stay safe out there and stay compliant.